Weekend Warriors, that was Saquon Barkley. Just destroyed his former team.
Yeah.
Ripped the heart out of his
Absolutely.
former fan base, and good for him.
Good for him, 100%. I've interviewed Saquon a few times. He's an easy guy to like,
awesome.
easy guy to root for. Everyone loves Saquon.
It's not Saquon's fault. The Giants really had no interest in ever keeping him.
It is not. It is absolutely not Saquon's fault. And by the way, there are times when I've come into NBC Sports and I see somebody burning my jersey as well, and I'm just like, you know what? Screw you. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to predict my ass off. You watch. You watch. So I get it. I understand the motivation there for Saquon Barkley. 176 rushing yards, catches 2 balls for 11 yards, had a season-high 21% target share. That was exciting. One of the concerns coming into the year was, would Saquon be involved in the passing game because Jalen Hurts doesn't like to throw that much. Now, he didn't throw it all for this game, so I mean, 21% target share. He got 3 targets, he caught 2 balls. But still, again, I mean, the fact that 2 receptions was worth, Jalen Hurts just didn't run that much, but second most rushing yards by a player in a game against his former team. Third different game with 25 or more fantasy points. Saquon is back after a tough week last week again. Just awesome to see. He's the number 2 running back in fantasy heading in to Monday Night Football.
Out in London, great day for the Jags offense, Jay. Tank Bigsby, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. Brian Thomas Jr. caught all 5 of his targets, 89 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, I suspect there's a very good chance this is Tank Bigsby's backfield.
It should be.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with Travis Etienne and him coming back, but certainly you would expect that Bigsby has at least owned the largest share of the backfield with that performance. Brian Thomas is 5th in the NFL in receiving yards, and for all the bad vibes and pessimism around the Jags, they're 1 game behind the Niners in the standings. They got the same record as the Jets, and then they have a massive couple of weeks coming up. But look, all the underlying stuff on the Jags has never been as bad as you would suspect. So there is a chance this is going to be a competitive team going forward, and Tank Bigsby and Brian Thomas Jr. are going to be a big part of that on offense.
On the other side of this one, Matthew, Drake Maye, good fantasy day for the young quarterback, 276 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he also runs a little bit.
Yeah, since he became the starter in Week 6, he's averaging over 20 fantasy points per game. He's now got 5 passing touchdowns in his last 2 games. He's got almost 60 rushing yards in his 2 games, to your point about, and we talked about this when he became the starter. He does things that you want from your fantasy quarterback. He's willing to chuck it deep, and he gets you points with his legs as well. So I think he's certainly a very viable QB2, and he's bordering on QB1 usefulness as well. Now we'll see how he does at home against the Jets this week, as you mentioned, but getting production from Hunter Henry. Hopefully Pop Douglas gets healthier as well, but he was spreading it around, and, again, it's the Jaguars, but still, he did what you're supposed to do against the Jaguars, put up fantasy points.
Bad vibes around the Browns, but a good day for David Njoku. Jay catches 10 of 14 targets, 76 yards and a touchdown, which in this tight end fantasy landscape, that's gold.
Yeah, it's elite production. And look, David Njoku, who hasn't had a great year and was injured at the start, he is the number 1 pass-catching weapon on an NFL team, and that counts for a great deal. He's the number 1 tight end this week going into Monday Night Football. And with Deshaun Watson not part of the picture anymore, I think that David Njoku's upside only increases, whether that's Jameis Winston at quarterback or DTR. So David Njoku, again, in this landscape, is probably going to be a must-start tight end.
He should get a massive target share here. I don't know, if, for those of you that were not watching fantasy football pregame, we showed this photo. That was David Njoku's entrance, and I was just like, yeah, that guy's going for 102 touchdowns. Almost came close to it as well. Just 10 for 79 and a touchdown. Look, you don't wear that without knowing you're going off. Look at that. Look at that. What a beautiful, magnificent human being.
Yeah.
God bless.
And in this
what I said, Connor, was I'm not gay, but if I was, I would go there.
That's the type of outfit you're a fan of? All right.
He looked awesome. By the way, speaking of the Browns, Nick Chubb
welcome back, Nick
makes
Chubb.
his return. He drinks for free. He gets into the end zone. Great to see. There were only 16 carries for the Browns. They got down in this game, but Nick Chubb handled 11 of them, including all 3 goal-to-go rushing attempts as well. Wasn't particularly efficient, but I think he'll get better. Honestly, they'll be better with a different quarterback under center.
They will be. And I was surprised, he had 10 carries in the first half. They were giving it to him. And then it seemed like that was the plan, and then he only got 1 carry in the second half. But Nick Chubb, he might be ramped up to a full workload quicker than people expect.
Our last weekend warrior, Brock Bowers, feels like he's on this list every week, Matthew. He catches 10 of 14 targets for 19 yards.
Yeah, he's like a young David Njoku out there. Let's see him show up in chaps and nothing else, right? But look, 40% target share in Week 7. He led all tight ends with that. Third straight game now with at least 16 fantasy points for Brock Bowers. Third game this season with over 90 receiving yards. No Jacoby Myers in this game, but still, even when Jacoby Myers comes back, and we saw the injury to AOC, but like much of Bowers' production this year has been with Gardner Minshew under center. He remains the tight end one. Njoku's going to challenge him, but if I was redrafting again today, Bowers is still my number one tight end, still a top 10 pick. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.